A breakfast Wellington? Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Like with any Wellington, we start with the shrooms. We gotta dice them, chop them, dice them, get them as small as humanly possible. We're gonna throw in a handful of garlic in there just for a little bit of extra flavor, but we're gonna run all of those through the processor there, and then we're gonna get it into a cast iron pan so that we can reduce them.
It smells really good. Let's hit it with a little S&P and talk a little bit more about duxelles. Duxelles, a cooked down mushroom mixture. Now mushrooms are about 69% water, so you have to chop them up very fine and then cook them down until they're almost like a paste. Otherwise, when we put this whole bad boy together, it's gonna be all sloppy and messy if there's still too much water in them. So that's why we're gonna keep cooking them down. Now this process takes like 30 minutes over medium to medium high heat. All that we've added in there with them is a little bit of garlic, some salt and pepper. We might deglaze it here in just a minute. Well, early times. We're 100% gonna deglaze it in just a minute because making fire stuff is super cool. Biggest mistake when people make a Wellington is not cooking these down enough. You really have to get all that moisture out of there, otherwise you're gonna have a soupy mess at the end.
That's enough about those mushrooms. Now we're gonna start with our filling, our center. And like I said, this is a breakfast Wellington. It's not your traditional Wellington you have at your grandmother's house every Tuesday night like we all did growing up. This one, we're using breakfast sausage, hot breakfast sausage. Now, it's not gonna be spicy in the end because we're adding a lot of seasoning in there, got some Lane signature and a whole bunch of Parmesan cheese. Just like with a Wellington, we gotta sear this bad boy off. While our duxelles are cooling their heels over there, we're gonna sear all the sides of this. Make sure you rotate it around and do it well. Little camera magic prosciutto here. Like always, we get down our layer of cling wrap that's gonna help form the outside. When we roll it up, we get our layer of prosciutto, we get our duxelles, nice thin layer, adding a little bit of Parmesan just to spice up the party there. Then we're gonna roll it up. This is what that cling wrap is there for, so we can roll it nice and tight into a log. It's always good to have a nice tight log. We're gonna pop this over to the side. Now, normally with a beef Wellington, you would cool this down in the fridge. We're not. We're gonna immediately roll out our puff pastry and get it into the oven because this has to get to a much higher temperature than your regular beef Wellington. Roll out one sheet of puff pastry, prep just a little bit of egg wash there to bind it all up together. Get our sausage, prosciutto, duxelle mixture. Get that into the center there. Make sure you take off the cling wrap. Don't know that I need to specify that, but don't eat cling wrap, guys. That's not good. Seal it up tight with some egg. And I have this little specialty cutter thing here. And this is how you get that nice crisscross hatch pattern on top there. You see people doing it with a knife. That doesn't actually do anything. You have to actually cut another sheet of puff pastry and then glue it on with some more egg. Into the oven, 350 degrees. Final internal temp of 145 degrees. Cook it on the lowest rack of the oven, and then towards the end of the cook, move it to the top rack to brown the outside of that puff pastry. The bottom of the oven isn't as hot as the top of the oven because heat rises. So use that to your advantage. And this is breakfast again. So what do we need? Just a buttload of scrambled eggs. So I'm gonna do 8 eggs into a pot here. This is the Gordon Ramsay scrambled egg method. Put all your eggs into a cold pot, throw a little bit of butter in there, and just constantly mix them throughout the entire cook process. On the heat, off the heat, don't let them cook too fast, don't let them stick to the bottom, and just keep going until you get about the consistency you want. I like to add a little cheese in there, a little stretchy cheese, that's mozzarella, a little S&P, just to season it up, but right at the end. Don't put your seasoning in at the beginning, otherwise they'll get a little weird on you. Then you just keep mixing them on and off that heat until you get that consistency you like. Now the fun part. We get to crack this welly open. Always so satisfying. There she is. Now, this looks a little different because it's breakfast sausage, but I gotta say, this thing was next level. So good. Served over a little bit of those scrambled eggs there. A little chive in the mix. This thing was phenomenal. Definitely give it a try.